This high school junior says she was stalked by accused school shooter Nikolas Cruz. Ariana Lopez says Cruz seemed totally normal when she first met him until he showed a dark side.
He started becoming violent and very obsessive and very aggressive to the point of where it was somewhat frightening.
Ariana says Cruz dated another girl who became terrified of him.
Things got weird fast.
Things got weird. How?
He hit her. And he would send her very violent, accusing messages saying like she was cheating on him with our other friends, that, like she didn't deserve him, that he was going to kill her. She had marks. She was scared of him.
After they broke up, Cruz sent disturbing texts to Ariana and her friends.
He made this into a joke saying, I'm going to be the next school shooter. I have all these guns. If you mess with me, I will kill you. In those messages, he talks about bringing a gun to school and killing our friends.
That must have been terrifying.
It was.
On the day of the Valentine's Day massacre, Ariana ran into a closet and hid, fearing the shooter would hunt her down.
It's like 50 kids in a closet, half sitting down, half standing, all like trying to contact their friends and family. We're passing phones around.
Even before his capture, they had no doubt who the shooter was.
You could hear like 15 people or more just say, it's Nick. Before they had announced it, it's Nick.
You knew right there in real time.
We all knew it was Nick.
Ariana texted her mom, "There's a code red, an active shooter. I can't text. I can't talk. I'm safe. I love you." She replied, "Stay safe. Let me know when it's over. I'm sending love, light, and strength. It's Nick, the kid who stalked me." A just-released report on Cruz from the Florida Department of Children and Families shows the breakup with his girlfriend was triggered by her mom. The girl's mother told the kids they had to end the relationship because it was unhealthy for everyone. The report says Cruz started cutting himself after the relationship ended. And is Cruz about to inherit a fortune? Court documents obtained by Inside Edition show his adoptive father, Robert P. Cruz, died in 2004 of a heart attack, leaving a $1 million estate. His mother, Linda Cruz, sold their house for $570,000. In November, she died from the flu after refusing to seek medical help. A friend was quoted as saying she was so frugal she didn't want to spend the money. Ariana says she is eager to get back to school and is moved by the way her town has come together.
I think it's beautiful, but I wish it didn't have to happen in a time like this.
February 14th, 2018. A date that was supposed to be defined by heart-shaped cards and high school romances instead became the day the world stopped. In the halls of Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School, the mundane sounds of a Wednesday afternoon were replaced by a rhythmic, mechanical violence that would echo for decades. When the final gavel fell years later, on November the 2nd, 2022, the sentence was as absolute as the silence it sought to address: life without the possibility of parole. 34 times, one for every life taken and one for every life shattered. As we stand here in January 2026, the boy who once craved the world's attention has been granted a very specific, agonizing kind of immortality. He is trapped in a living death, a reality where the exit signs have been removed, and the only thing left to count is the heartbeat of a man who no longer has a place in the sun. Some say he escaped the ultimate price by avoiding the death penalty, but as we peel back the layers of his current existence, we have to ask, is a quick end really worse than a century of concrete? I want to welcome you back to the channel. We investigate the cases the world tried to forget, looking for the truth in the spaces between the headlines. If you find value in these deep dives, please subscribe and join our community of investigators. And as we begin, tell us where you are watching from today, whether it's the United States, Canada, Australia, or beyond. Leave a comment below. We read every single one. The timeline of that Valentine's Day is a clinical study in premeditated darkness. It wasn't a sudden break or a moment of passion. It was a sequence of cold, calculated steps. The arrival in the Uber, the tactical vest, the pulling of the fire alarm to maximize the chaos and pull children into the line of fire. Imagine the scene: the smell of gunpowder mixing with the scent of cafeteria food, the chills that paralyzed the nation as the first cell. Phone videos began to leak. This was a crime designed for a digital age, a performance of slaughter that Nikolas Cruz hoped would make him a god in the eyes of the broken. Instead, in 2026, he is a ghost. He sits in a high-security cell in Florida, a man who traded the futures of 17 souls for a permanent, windowless silence.
I am very sorry for what I did, and I have to live with it every day. And that if I were to get a second chance, I will do everything in my power to try to help others. And I am doing this for you, and I do not care if you do not believe me. And I love you, and I know you don't believe me, but I have to live with this every day. And it brings me nightmares, and I can't live with myself sometimes. But I try to push through because I know that's what you guys would want me to do. I hate drugs, and I believe this country would do better if everyone would stop smoking marijuana and doing all these drugs and causing racism and violence out in the streets. I'm sorry, and I can't even watch TV anymore. And I'm trying my best to maintain my composure, and I just want you to know I'm really sorry. And I hope you give me a chance to try to help others. If I believe it's your decision to decide where I go and whether I live or die. Not the jury's. I believe it's your decision. I'm sorry. Yeah.
When we look back at the missed red flags, the list reads like a manual on systemic failure. The social media posts about becoming a professional school shooter, the local police calls, the expulsion, the animal cruelty. The red flags weren't just waving, they were screaming. What could have stopped this? A single person with the authority to act. But the psychology suggests a man who was already fundamentally incapable of feeling the weight of the lives he was about to extinguish. Cruz wasn't just a troubled teen. He was a predator who used his own isolation as a justification for a massacre. Today, he is learning the true meaning of isolation, not as a choice, but as a permanent state of being. Now consider the milestone erasure. Nikolas Cruz is 27 years old. In the outside world, this is the prime of a man's life. This is the era of first homes, career milestones, and the deep, formative relationships of adulthood. For Cruz, these human experiences have been systematically deleted. He will never know the pride of building a life. He will never feel the warmth of a family he created. The simple, mundane freedom of walking to a kitchen at midnight for a glass of water is a memory he will never have again. While the survivors of Parkland are out in the world, living the lives he tried to take, Cruz is marking his time against the physical decay of the prison walls. In 20 years, he won't be a man in his prime. He will be a middle-aged occupant of a 7x12 box, a non-person in a system that has moved on without him. Currently, as of January 2026, his inside-the-walls reality is defined by a dehumanizing routine that is as sterile as it is brutal. He is housed in Florida State Prison, where the lights come on at 5 a.m., a harsh, fluorescent glare that signals the beginning of another identical day. The food is served through a metal slot, a daily reminder that he is no longer worthy of sitting at a table with other humans. His world is a concrete box where the only novelty is the shifting of shadows. In the prison hierarchy, Cruz is at the absolute bottom. Child killers and mass shooters are not just disliked, they are targets. Because of this, he exists in a prison within a prison. Extreme protective custody that translates to 23 hours a day of total solitude. If you've stayed with me this far, you aren't just a casual viewer. You're an investigator. We are building a community of people who refuse to let these stories fade into the concrete. Hit that subscribe button and join our ranks. Help us grow this circle of voices so we can bring more light to these forgotten halls. Now, let's look at the evidence they didn't want you to see. The evidence presented during the penalty phase revealed a mind that was acutely aware of its own depravity. We saw the videos he recorded, the private reality, where he gloated about the fame he was about to achieve.
I'm going to be the next school shooter of 2018. Location is Stoneman Douglas in Parkland, Florida.
In 2026, that fame has turned into a suffocating shroud. He is the most hated man in a system designed for the most hated. He is a man who wanted to be a monster, and the state of Florida has obliged, granting him the status of a permanent, isolated shadow. The legal updates for 2026 show that the door has finally closed. There are no more appeals that matter. There is no shock turn on the horizon. The permanent limbo of his existence is the only thing left. Stay with me, because as we move into the next phase of this excavation, we are going to look at the survivor's strength, the lives that were rebuilt from the ashes, and the specific psychological torture of being the man who is perpetually waiting for forever. To understand the true weight of this living death, we have to look at the digital footprint of a killer, the trail of premeditated darkness that serves as the forensic spine of his life sentence. In 2026, we have a more complete understanding of his online life, the private reality where he rehearsed his crimes. We see a man who was obsessed with his own reflection in the digital mirror, a man who sought validation in the dark corners of the internet. This digital trail wasn't just evidence, it was his exit plan from a life he found intolerable. But in prison, the digital world is a closed door. He is a man who lived for the likes and the views of his infamy, now trapped in a place where no one is watching and no one cares about his performance. The victim's legacy is the only true light in this investigation. In 2026, the 17 names from Parkland are not just memorialized on plaques. They are woven into the fabric of social change. Their legacies are active, breathing movements that have outpaced the killer's ability to destroy. While Cruz sits in the stagnant air of a high-security cell, the spirits of those he tried to erase are protecting other students through legislation and safety initiatives. This is the ultimate defeat for a man who wanted to be the center of the story. He has become the footnote, while the 17 have become the headline. The inside-the-walls reality for Cruz in 2026 is a study in social erasure. He is currently housed at Florida State Prison, where the dehumanizing routine is designed to strip away every shred of his previous identity. He is no longer the Parkland shooter. He is a number in a system that views him as a high-stakes liability. Because of the nature of his crime, he exists in extreme isolation. He does not eat with other inmates. He does not participate in group activities. His world is the size of a bathroom, and his only window into the human experience is the occasional, sterile interaction with a guard or a medical professional. This isn't just a physical cage, it's a psychological vacuum. When you have no one to perform for, you begin to dissolve. The milestone erasure for a mass shooter is particularly poignant. Cruz is approaching his late 20s, a decade where men typically find their footing in the world. But for Cruz, there is no footing. There is only the concrete loop. He will never have a child of his own, a legacy that he chose to forfeit when he took the children of others. He will never feel the pride of a parent or the comfort of a lifelong partner. Every lost life sequence we discuss is a direct reflection of the voids he created in 17 other homes. The irony is that in his search for power, he has become the most powerless person in the state of Florida. The psychological breakdown of his long-term isolation is starting to show its cracks in early 2026. Reports suggest a man who is retreating into a catatonic state to escape the boredom of his own mind. Without the external stimulation of the internet or the fame he craved, his psyche is turning inward, eating itself. This is the part most people don't understand. The human brain requires novelty to function. In a 7/12 cell, novelty is a foreign concept. He is a man who once thrived on the chaos he created, now drowning in the monotony he earned. Stay with me, because here is the part most people don't understand about the prison hierarchy for a man like Cruz. He is a marked man, not just by the system, but by the culture of the prison itself. Even in isolation, the pressure is constant. The chills he felt when he pulled that fire alarm are now his constant companions, as he wonders if today is the day a lapse in security leads to a reckoning. He lives in a state of pre-mortem anxiety, knowing that the world outside wants him forgotten, and the world inside wants him gone. As we look toward the final phase of this excavation, we will confront the philosophical dilemma of his survival. We will ask if life without parole is a more profound punishment than the death penalty for a man who wanted to go out in a blaze of glory. We will examine the 2026 legal finality of his case and the no-sympathy reality that ensures his name will eventually be swallowed by the concrete of the Florida State Prison. The 2026 legal landscape for Nikolas Cruz has reached its final immutable form. There are no more courtrooms, no more cameras, and no more chances to explain the unexplainable. As we enter the final phase of this excavation, we must address the no sympathy disclaimer with absolute clarity. This is not a defense of a killer. The 17 lives taken and the 17 lives physically and emotionally scarred are the only priority of this narrative. Their pain is a debt that no amount of isolation can ever settle. Cruz is not a victim of a system. He is the creator of a void that he now has to live in for the rest of his natural life.
No one that's up here right now can imagine what it's like to have a little sister murdered.
I see you in my nightmares and in my daydreams.
Their pain is unimaginable.
He hunted down innocent children, terrified, then tortured them, blew their heads apart, and enjoyed it.
The only comfort I have is that your life in prison will be filled with horror and fear.
Anne Ramsey spoke about the last meal she shared with her slain daughter, Helena.
And do you know what she said to me? She said, "Thank you, Mummy. Delicious, Mummy. Thank you." How many children say thank you these days to their parents?
This man lost his granddaughter and could not bring himself to utter the name of the killer, Nikolas Cruz.
Parkland murder, I hope your maker sends you directly to hell to burn for the rest of your eternity.
The families expressed fear that Cruz was given life instead of the death penalty they had demanded.
You did not receive the justice that you deserved.
He gets to receive visitors. He gets to watch TV, read books, draw, and write about killing again, and even get a college degree. How is that punishment?
Max Schachter's son, Alex, was among the 17 victims. He went after the lawyers who are representing Cruz.
You make me sick.
A defense attorney called the attacks inappropriate.
Your Honor knows that what is happening here is not permissible.
But the judge wasn't having it.
You're finished. I've heard your objection. It's noted.
And there were these parting shots.
He is a sociopath that does not deserve to live amongst us.
We are forced to confront the philosophical dilemma of justice versus forever. In our society, we often debate if life without parole is a more civilized punishment than the death penalty. But looking at Cruz in 2026, we see a man who is being slowly erased by time. He wanted to go out in a blaze of glory, a final violent act that would cement his name in history. Instead, the state of Florida has handed him a century of silence. Is it more just to let a man rot in a concrete box for 50 years, or to end the story quickly? The living death suggests that the slow extraction of a human life, day by day, year by year, is a much more profound reckoning than the needle. The social erasure of Nikolas Cruz is nearly complete. In the outside world, his name is spoken less and less, while the names of the Parkland 17 are spoken more. He has become a digital ghost, a cautionary tale of what happens when we ignore the red flags of a fractured mind. Inside the walls, he is a ghost in a different sense. He is a man who exists in a state of permanent limbo, waiting for a tomorrow that will look exactly like today. There is no growth, no redemption, and no change. There is only the concrete loop. As he moves through his late 20s, the physical decay of the prison environment is becoming his only companion. The vibrant world he once occupied has been replaced by the gray, sterile monotony of Florida State Prison. This is the part most people don't understand. The psychological weight of knowing that your best years are behind you, and they were spent in a hallway of blood. Every morning at 5 a.m., the lights serve as a reminder that he is no longer the director of his own life. He is merely an occupant of a space that society has reserved for its most fundamental failures. The final question I leave for you is this. In our search for justice, have we found a more honest punishment in the living death? Does the slow decay of Nikolas Cruz serve the memory of those he lost, or is it merely a way for us to avoid the finality of the death penalty? Tell me in the comments. I want to know if you believe life without parole is the ultimate justice, or if the concrete loop is a cruelty we haven't fully admitted to. We are a community of investigators, and your perspective is the final evidence. Let that sink in as the cell door closes for the 10,000th time. The case of Nikolas Cruz is just one file in a very dark cabinet. In our next video, I'm opening the vault on a story even more chilling than this one. A case where the betrayal came not from a stranger, but from within the very heart of a family. If you aren't subscribed, you're going to miss the update that changes the way you look at the justice system forever. Don't get left outside the walls. Join us, hit subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.